James Merritt had not been on a date in 4 years. This was not an accident. After his wife left, not dramatically, not cruelly, just quietly and permanently, the way some people do, James had decided that his energy had exactly one place to go. His 6-year-old daughter Chloe. Everything else could wait. But his coworker Dana had been persistent. Months of persistent. And on a Thursday afternoon she had looked at him with the specific expression of a woman who would not be taking no for an answer and said, "One dinner. That's all I'm asking. Her name is Rachel. She's smart and funny and kind, and she has been let down by so many people that she deserves one evening with someone decent." James had said yes mostly to end the conversation. He regretted it from the moment he pulled into the restaurant parking lot. He arrived 5 minutes early and told the host he was meeting someone. He was shown to a corner table, and he sat down and looked at the menu and reminded himself that it was just one dinner. He could do one dinner. Rachel arrived at 7:02. She was tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a deep green dress and small gold earrings. She was, by any conventional measure, a large woman, and she walked into the restaurant the way James imagined a person walks into a room when they have spent years preparing themselves for what they might find in people's eyes. Head level. Expression composed. Ready. James stood up. "Rachel?" he said. "James," she said. A question and a confirmation at once. They shook hands. They sat down. There was the standard first date awkwardness. Menus opened, water poured, the small negotiation of who speaks first. James spoke first. "Dana told me you're smart and funny," he said. "In that order. I'm curious which one comes out first." Rachel blinked. Then, carefully, she almost smiled. "Usually the smart one," she said. "The funny one takes longer to trust people." "Fair," James said. "I'll wait." She was the CEO of Callaway Systems, a mid-sized tech infrastructure company she had built from a 3-person startup into a firm with clients across 11 countries. She had done this while being a woman in a male-dominated industry, while being the heaviest person in most of the rooms she walked into, and while fielding, for the better part of 15 years, the kind of subtle and not-so-subtle commentary that people felt entitled to make about her body as though it were public property. She didn't tell James any of this at dinner. He found it out later. At dinner, she told him about the hiking trail she'd done last spring that had nearly killed her and was the best day of the year. About the terrible reality television show she watched unironically every Tuesday. About the moment she had realized, at 26, that she was genuinely good at understanding systems, not just code, but the way people and processes moved together, and that this was something worth building a life around. James told her about Chloe. About the way his daughter asked questions that had no good answers with the confidence of someone who believed all answers existed and were simply being withheld. About the Tuesday morning 2 weeks ago when Chloe had looked at him across the breakfast table and said, very seriously, "Dad, I think you need a friend." Rachel laughed at that. A real laugh, the unguarded kind. "She's not wrong," Rachel said. "She's never wrong," James said. "It's genuinely alarming." At 8:15, a man at the next table leaned over. He was with a group, business dinner, suits, the easy, loud confidence of men who were used to taking up space. He looked at Rachel and then at James with the particular smirk of someone who had decided, in the 3 seconds he'd been watching them, that he had something worth saying. "Didn't know they were doing charity dates now," he said, quiet enough to be deniable, loud enough to land. The table next to him heard it. Rachel heard it. Her expression didn't change. It was the composed, armored face from the parking lot, the one she kept ready. James put down his fork. He looked at the man with the specific calm of someone who had decided exactly what he was going to do and didn't need any extra seconds to get there. "She's the CEO of a tech firm with clients in 11 countries, James said evenly. "I looked her up before I came." "What did you build?" The man opened his mouth. Closed it. James picked his fork back up. The table went quiet. Then the moment passed the way those moments do, awkwardly, quickly, the group at the next table suddenly very interested in their own food. Rachel was looking at James. He met her eyes and shrugged slightly, as if to say, "That happened, moving on." "You looked me up?" she said. "Dana said you were smart and kind," James said. "I wanted to know what that looked like in practice." A pause. "And?" Rachel said. 11 countries, James said. "That's what it looks like." Rachel was quiet for a moment. She had been on dates before. Enough of them to know the patterns, the men who spent the evening being carefully polite in the way that communicated discomfort. The ones who looked at her the way the man at the next table had. The ones who were perfectly decent until the bill came, and then found somewhere else to be. She had not been on a date where a man had looked up her work before he arrived. Where he had listened to her hiking story like it was interesting because it was. Where he had said something to the man at the next table without making her feel like a project that needed defending. He had not defended her. He had simply stated a fact. There was a difference, and she felt it. "The funny one," she said, "is starting to trust you." James smiled, not triumphantly. Just genuinely. "Good," he said. "I was starting to wonder." They stayed until the restaurant was half empty. Outside in the parking lot, the air was cold and the street was quiet. They stood beside her car in the natural pause of an evening ending. "Chloe's right," Rachel said. "You do need a friend." "Probably," James said. "So do I," she said. She looked at him directly, the composed face entirely gone now, just a